welcome to this week's blog. Okay, the elections are over now, and we know who our president's going to be, and we know who our senators are and our congressmen, so we know what we can kind of expect for the next 2 years. So with that all behind us, let me ask a hypothetical question. What would have happened if Jesus would have been here living in our day and he decided to run for office? Can you imagine the platform he would have run on? Could you imagine the talking points that would have come up during his campaign? I believe on his platform he would have publicly said that we need to pray. He would have brought prayer back into the public square. And for those who didn't know how to pray, he would say, publicly he would have said, I will teach you how to pray. I think Jesus would have recognized sin and called sin what it is. He would have said that is sinful. He would have called sin publicly. I think he would have recognized and honored the Sabbath and expected those who were listening to him to also recognize and honor the Sabbath. I think when it came to marriage, he would have definitely preached on marriage. That would have been one of his talking points, and the marriage foundation would have come from the book of Genesis. I think he would have recognized the wealthy, the rich in our country, and said that it's not that they need to do their fair share, but that the wealthy, the rich, need to give their wealth to the poor. And I think to the church, he would have said, my house is a house of prayer. Well, I hypothetically ask those questions because I think the answer to those questions really display and prove how far we have come away from the principles of God. Our nation and our culture, how far we have separated ourselves from what God would have wanted. When you look at the campaign speeches, could you imagine Jesus making campaign speeches? He would have said that we need to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul, with all your strength. On his campaign trail, he would be having banners and preaching saying that we need to love our neighbors, we need to love our enemies, that we need to do good to those who hate you, that we need to bless those who persecute you and who curse you. How would that have gone over into the public arena? Hypothetically, what would have happened if Jesus would have run on those kind of platforms? Or if any candidate would have taken the principles of God and run on them? I mean, let's look at them. Basically, if Jesus would have said we all need to pray publicly, how far have we come as a nation? We've removed prayer from all aspects of our lives. It's out of our schools, it's out of our courthouses, it's out of our society. Any kind of government affair, prayer is removed from that. And Jesus would have said we need to pray. He would have called sin, sin. How far have we come from that principle? Now if someone calls someone a sinner or says that is sinning or that is wrong, our culture, our nation now says, no, you're judging. You can't judge anybody. Well, Jesus wouldn't have been judging. And anybody who says what is right and what is wrong and what is righteous and what is wicked, that's not judgment. That's just biblical principles. And he would have said we need to recognize, respect, and honor the Sabbath. The Sabbath is a day where, first of all, you worship God. The Sabbath is about worship. And then it's enjoying the fruit of your labor from the last week. How often do we worship on a Sabbath? Do we have a day set aside to completely begin that day in the act of worship? No, many Americans don't recognize that and honor the Sabbath at all. And about marriage, we are passing laws now redefining what the term marriage means. Jesus would have used Genesis and said the very first marriage was put together by God, and it's a man and a woman coming together. And what about the church? The church now is doing sermons and teachings where lifestyles are coming into the church, and we're being expected as pastors and as churchgoers to embrace any lifestyle that comes in, to accept that and to appease and to approve of those lifestyles. That's not what the church is meant to be. Jesus would have said that we need to love. Our nation doesn't love. Our culture doesn't love. It lusts. We don't give. We want to get. We don't try to offer forgiveness. We defend ourselves for how we act and how we speak. We're not thankful as a nation. We're not thankful as people. We're entitled to things. We put ourselves first. Hypothetically, what would have happened if Jesus or any other candidate would have stood on biblical principles? Would he have got any votes? Would he or she got any votes at all? Would there be any support behind that? Hypothetically speaking, that question needs to be answered because it shows how far we have come away from the principles of the Bible. Have a great day.